The annual Indaba is the largest tourism marketing event in Africa. Our reporter Jody Jacobs has been visiting some of the stalls and he joins us now live from Durban. Jody, thank you so much for joining us. Now we know that tourism has a lot to do with perceptions. What have you heard from the exhibitors and from the actual panel discussions about managing those perceptions to boost tourism?
Well, indeed, Tabang, in the main auditorium, just as we heard there, that debate taking place, or that conversation with some of the important key stakeholders within the tourism sector, answering very tough questions and about that particular perception that South Africa has, and indeed the continent for that matter. South Africa has this perception of being crime-ridden, and it's very dangerous to come on holiday to South Africa, and those are the questions that were being answered by the stakeholders in the tourism sector on the sidelines really of this particular Indaba. But on the ground here, we are hearing of great stories coming from not only South Africa, but from the rest of the continent, of people that are pushing the envelope to try and change that perception that people have of not only South Africa, but the rest of the continent. We know that the rest of the continent has this perceived perception of famine and of warfare. And many people don't want to travel to the rest of Africa for that. And I'm joined now here on the floor of the main exhibition hall at Indaba 2016 by Sam Mensah, who is the founder of Kisu. It's a clothing range really, but what they've done is they've taken fashion to the rest of the world, and in so doing, they are wanting to impart that knowledge and that perception to get people to come and visit Africa. And Sam joins me now. Sam, thank you so much. First of all, I'm quite intrigued by your story. An economist by profession, but an entrepreneur by day, if I should put it that way.
Yeah, so I basically turned my whole career upside down and decided to give up investment banking and private equity to start a business in contemporary African fashion. We have a lot of great cultural assets for fashion on the African continent, but we haven't really commercialized it and we haven't really marketed it to the rest of the world. And that's what companies like ours, like Kisua, are doing. We're taking beautiful African fashion and we're taking it to the international marketplace.
It's quite important, and how does that play into the issue of tourism? Many people watching this now are going to say, but you're a fashion designer. How does that play into a tourism Indaba like this?
You know, the US Office for Tourism and Travel reported that 80 to 90% of the activity of shopping activity that was carried out by visitors to the US had to do with fashion and fashion-related products. So when making a choice as to where to go, when selecting a destination, visitors are very sensitive to the perception around the lifestyle, and part of that is what great fashion can I get in those places. And that's what we're trying to do, get that message across. Africa is open, we have beautiful things, we have beautiful clothes. Come and see, come and try on for yourself.
But there is of course that perception out there, like I said earlier on, that South Africa, crime-ridden, unsafe country. The rest of Africa, famine and warfare.
And we have to start attacking that. And the way we change that is by showing a different image of Africa. You know, is by showing Michelle Obama, Beyonce, people like that embracing African fashion. You see beautiful African fashion pieces on the covers of magazines like Vogue and Harper's Bazaar internationally. So the image that traditional images of Africa as war-torn and disease-ridden, that's starting to change, and it's really up to us to make sure that we continue to generate that positive narrative of Africa, showing the talents, the creativity, the wonderful fabrics, the stories behind the fabrics, the silhouettes, and having that ability to actually take these beautiful products that we make to the rest of the world, so people want to come and visit and come to the source of where all this beautiful fashion is coming from. Just one more thing. Recently, a designer like Valentino did an African-inspired collection. Many major international brands have made billions of dollars making and selling collections that are inspired by Africa. This is all good for the continent because they are also now embracing Africa as a continent from where beautiful things arise.
Do you think the time has come for Africans to really take up the baton and really be the ambassadors for the continent, especially for those who travel overseas? And has the time come that we take up that baton to change the perception?
Absolutely, and we do that in a variety of ways. We do that by what we say, and also by what we wear and how we look. And that's part of what we do is we make beautiful African clothing for women that enables them to celebrate the continent, celebrate their culture wherever they are in the world.
Entrepreneurship and small business, a big focus at this year's Indaba. For small businesses out there, where do you see their role in promoting Africa and promoting tourism to the rest of the world from Africa?
So one of the greatest inventions to come out for small businesses in the last 20 years is something called the internet that you might have heard about. The beauty about the internet is that it levels the playing field. Small businesses can have websites through which consumers, customers all over the world can find out about what they do. Then there's also the power of social media. Through social media, we can take control and tell our own stories and show our own images. And in so doing, we will start to change and show what we have and what we can do for visitors to the continent.
Thank you so much for your time today, and thank you so much for chatting to us. That is of Sam Mensah from Kesu. He's a founder of Kesu, a clothing brand that basically designs and manufactures African clothing and sells that to the rest of the world. People like Beyonce wearing some of this man's clothing, and in so doing wants to promote Africa to the rest of the world, and in so doing generate economic growth for the continent, for tourism, so that people can get their feet on African soil. More from us throughout the day here at Indaba 2016. And with that, for now, it's back to you.
Thank you very much, Jody. That was our reporter, Jody Jacobs, live from the Tourism Indaba, joining us there.